Alright, Shalom. Shalom. This is your brother Issachar coming back at you with another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Baklak Radash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. Alright, in today's lesson, we're gonna go talk about famine. How there's gonna be a shortage of food and water out here. Alright, so without further ado, let's get right into it. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 15. Verse 5. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verse 5. Behold, said the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world. Alright, so the Lord's saying, He's saying He, So that's why I said I. Because Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, He's bringing the plagues. Okay, He's the one who controls the elites. Okay, who do you think gives Satan orders, Alright, so the Lord created all things. The reason why these elites are bringing, this, are trying to shoot for the New World Order, to cause chaos and all that, is because that's the will of the Lord. But on the left-hand side, see that, nobody's just doing their own thing. Well, no one's out here just like, oh, well, fuck it, let's just do this and, let's just rebel. And no, if you're on the left-hand side, you're created to be on the left-hand side. If you're on the right-hand side, you're created to be on the right-hand side. This is all, the Lord controls all things. So this is how we know that it's for sure it's going to happen, because it's the will of the Lord. It's His program. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verse 5. Behold, said the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world. So the whole world. See, that's very important right there. The whole world. The sword, because there's going to be martial law out here, civil war. Okay, all these sleeper cells are about to be activated. Alright, because you got all kinds of sleeper cells from all over here. Alright, famine. Alright, there it is right there. No food, water, death and destruction. See that? Death and destruction. This is what's coming down the pike. This is something that you gotta understand. It will happen. 2nd Esdras, just jump down to the let's see here. Second Esdras chapter 15 verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy the land thereof. See that? So just look at the history. Look what the Lord, remember how the Lord destroyed ancient Egypt? Okay, how He destroyed Pharaoh and his whole military, his whole army. Same thing. How He brought the plagues. He took all the firstborn. Alright? There wasn't a single house that wasn't, crying or yelling, that night. Alright, and who is that death angel? That's Yahweh Shai. Okay, our big brother Yahweh Shai. He's you want to talk about the real Green Reaper? Alright, because he can smite anyone at any time, and no one can prepare for it. Because if you're especially if you're against them, you don't know how or when it's gonna come. It's not like an ICBM or a gun where you could prepare and try to make like a missile defense system. When Yahweh Shai and the death angels roll, that's it. That's it. It don't matter if you go run underground, you go to your space station. It don't matter. You talk to the Dukes of Edom, the elites. It don't matter who you call. All right, if the Lord's coming for you, that's it. You know, you can't go. There's no hiding from the Lord. But this is why right here it says that the Lord is gonna smite, Egypt with plagues as before. Okay, because just like the Lord did, and in ancient Egypt, same thing is gonna happen again in this time. Alright, let me go to let me try to find this certain precept. Let's see here. Right here, Second Esdras, chapter 16, verse 22. All right, this is very important. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. You see, so right here it's saying many. You know, it's not saying just a little, many. And the other that escape the hunger, the sword shall destroy. See that? Because this is what the scriptures are telling us, because it says many of them, for many. So there's going to be a lot more people that are going to perish of famine, out here, because you're going to have a lot of people destroyed by these, these wars that break out here. Okay, there's going to be, a lot of people perishing out here by, guns, grenades, whatever, rockets. But this is the point here. It's saying for many. So there's going to be a lot of people because the Lord's going to starve people out, and so are the elites. So there's a great famine coming to the world. All right, and especially, like in these big cities, in the metropolis, wherever you go, like let's say you go to Tokyo, wherever, New York. All right, these big old cities. Okay, it takes a lot just to, keep these cities up. Is what you gotta understand. These cities, it takes a lot to keep them up. So, but people without power, people, like 80% of their food is gonna go bad. All right, because like let's say someone's storing meats and all that. Okay, but what if the power goes out? Then what? Then people are pretty much gonna be in a bad spot because people need that power. People need that power to keep their stuff on. You see? All right, so that's something that we're coming to. Is just that if people don't have power, it's power itself is gonna destroy a lot of people's food. Because a lot of people use refrigerators or freezers for stuff. And when the time when people don't really have access to stores and stuff like that. Okay, how are people gonna get ice or whatever? You know what I'm saying? You see? So this is something that the Lord's telling us. Because without these grocery stores, little liquor stores, 7-Elevens, where people are gonna get their ice and stuff to keep their food, going. So this is why it's gonna be a very devastating time. A very devastating time. Absolutely, because people are not gonna have access to their normal stuff. So that's gonna a lot of people are gonna be destroyed by that. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 5 and verse 17. So will I send upon you famine and evil beast, and they shall bereave thee. All right, so right here, okay, because the Lord is going to send famine, a great famine. Let me get that whole chapter here. Let me see, what's that verse above it? Let me see, right here. Okay, Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine. You see that? So the evil arrows of famine right there. Okay, so when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction. See that? So right here. Okay, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine. So evil meaning bad. Okay, it's bad. It's not good. Which shall be for their destruction. All right, which shall be for their destruction. See, because it's not just a little bit. The Lord's not going to bring this famine to scare people. To put them like in a in a hard spot. And just kind of like scare them. No, the Lord's bringing this famine to destroy people, and which I will send to destroy you. See? All right, so it's no bueno. The Lord's gonna bring it. Very hard, and I will increase the famine upon you. See, so it's gonna increase. With you have like recalls with ground beef, stuff like that. You have recalls with shortage of eggs and stuff. All right, sometimes restaurants don't have certain things more. Sometimes they rent out because like they're lacking. So this is what the Lord is going to bring. Okay, so right here, and I will increase the famine upon you. So it's gonna increase. Is what you gotta realize. See, it's gonna increase right there. All right, increase, and I will break your staff of bread. You see, so right there, and I will break your staff of bread. Meaning, what's that? The staff of bread. Grocery stores, your fast food restaurants, Starbucks, everything that is made available out here in these cities is not going to be available, So will I send upon you famine and evil beast. Right there, okay? Famine and evil beast. Because remember, it's not only gonna be you mortals out here, humans that are gonna be hungry, but the animals are gonna be hungry as well. See that? So when the animals are not getting fed, they're gonna be hungry too. You see that? And they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai have spoken it. Right there. Okay, because why? The Lord has spoken it. See? Let me see here. Famine. Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 15. The sword is without, and the pestilence, right? Because that first pandemic was just the beginning. There's about to be a lot more of that. See? And the pestilence and the famine within. Okay? And the pestilence and the famine within. Because lack of food and water. Alright? He that is in the field shall die with the sword. Alright? Because, yeah, there's going to be drones out here hunting people down. Robots out here, people out here looking for people, because once you run out of food, people are gonna result to cannibalism, and people are gonna eat people out here. Can you imagine? And he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. Right there, okay? And he that is in the city, famine. All right, so right, no food, no water, okay? And pestilence shall devour them. So yeah, the wicked are gonna turn people into zombies out here. Absolutely, because the wicked, you have a bunch of mad scientists down there in these underground cities creating all kinds of stuff, beasts, mutating what animals, changing their DNAs, all that. So there's gonna be a lot of like beasts being released out here, all kinds of stuff. You imagine the wicked and they have unlimited resources. Remember that cartoon Dexter's Laboratory? Remember how that Edomite was always he was always like underground, experiencing stuff. You know what I'm saying? All right, so same deal. All right, he's so you imagine the wicked, and that was just one little kid. Remember he was always down there, creating stuff. Can you imagine the wicked? They have unlimited resources, so you can only imagine what they're creating down there. You see, and there's a lot of information already coming out that people are saying, yeah, these scientists are creating stuff and mixing animals and mutating them, and that's just stuff that people find out,
Can make or break
So
how much money you get.
can you
Here's the biggest
imagine
mistake
the stuff that people don't know? Because that's just the tip of the iceberg, what people found out, like, hey, these dudes are these scientists are creating beasts and stuff like that. So can you imagine, what people don't know? Because that's just what people know. So how much more what we don't know? You see? Right here, let's see. So right here we're gonna go to Second Esdras chapter 16, and let's go down to the where are we here? To the 37th verse. Okay, so Second Esdras chapter 16, verse 37, and we'll go on down. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, because it's coming. These plagues are coming. So once the Lord starts to bring it, it's gonna go down out here. And when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Right? Because once that woman is about to have that child, now you have abortions and stuff like that, but that's bugged out, But, generally speaking, once that baby's coming, that's it. In that 9th month, that baby's coming, ready or not, that baby's coming. Whether that couple prepared it or not, that baby's coming. Second Esdras chapter 16 verse 39. Okay, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. See that? So right here, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, because the Lord is going to bring it, remember, on the whole earth. Not just America, not just the UK, the whole earth. And the world shall mourn. See that? The world is going to be in a mourning state. All right, not just like the West, not just Asia, not just the Hamites, not just the Arabs. It's the whole world. Okay. And sorrows shall come upon it on every side. See, sorrows. No. All right, sorrows, because people are gonna be like, damn, because people are gonna be losing their friends, family members. Okay, these cities, how people once knew it, this life, as waking up, going to the mall and doing this and that, that's all about to be shut down. Okay, people taking to their kids to sports, people going out and doing all this, all this luxury, going to amusement parks, going to the beach, hanging out with your friends, go grab a cup of joe, go to a cafe, okay, having Wi-Fi, all that is about to be shut down. So people are going to be sorry, in a sorrowful state, because a lot of people are used to Wi-Fi, their cell phones, you know what I'm saying? So, people are about to lose a lot out here, all right? So people are going to be in a sorrowful state. Oh, my people, hear my word. See? It's the Lord's word. Make you ready to thy battle. See? Because the reason why the Lord has, the elect going through trials and stuff, because it's to build you up. Remember, there's a lot that's gonna happen out here. Okay, a lot. So the Lord is hardening you. He's making you ready for the battle. Okay, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils, okay, and in those evils, meaning bad times, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Because people are gonna have to keep on moving. If you've seen that movie Bushwick or Book of Eli, okay, it's gonna be nonstop out here. You're gonna have to keep on moving. It's just the way it's gonna be, because you're gonna have different militias, different super soldiers, different androids in certain places. It's just the way it is. Unless you're like in a big old military base, but even then, you're gonna be getting these military bases out here are gonna be getting bombed on, be getting attacked. So they're people that have big old bases and stuff like that. You're gonna have to fight like hell to protect it, because there's a lot of people here that are gonna want to try to overthrow you. Especially America, with America's military bases, shit, they're gonna be attacked on all levels. So those people who do have teams and stuff like that, who have like bases and houses, whatever, you're gonna have to fight like hell to protect it, because you're gonna be a target. Facts. When people invade other nations or other countries, whatever, other militaries, they go for the bases. This is what you gotta understand. So remember, those of you that don't have it out there, you're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to go out there and get it how you live. And those of you that those of you that that do have it, you're gonna have to fight to protect it, like on all levels. Oh, remember that movie, War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, right? The first one. Okay, well that one right there, you're gonna have to remember he had a van, like an EMP struck or something like that when those remember when those spaceships came out of the ground and stuff. All right, remember everybody, like, their car wasn't working and stuff, and War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, remember? All right, but remember his one buddy, the mechanic, he was able to like bypass it, and he was able to get his van running. Do you remember that? Okay, so right there, he wasn't able to, he was able to get his van running, right? Okay, so well, once he did that, what happened? He was able to drive it for a little while. Meanwhile, everybody else's car was just through, it couldn't work. But what happened to Tom Cruise? He was a heavy target. And then remember, once he went to like a place where there was people, what did they do? They broke his windows and they put a gun to his head and said, "Give me that van," because those people see who didn't have it, they were looking for a car, looking for anything, looking for answers, just looking to survive. See that? And whoever did have it, they're ready to kill him. And that movie, they just they barely they were still food. They were kind of tripping, but that just shows you. So can you imagine a couple days, weeks of no food and stuff? They're not just gonna put a gun to your head and say, "Hey, get out of the van." No, people are gonna kill you on sight and take your family and eat them and eat you. See that? Because right there in that movie World of Worlds, the problem, it was just beginning, like barely. You know what I'm saying? So that's why people weren't starving yet. See, because it just had happened. See, and that just shows you how people were remember how people were just wilding out. All right, but can you imagine when there's weeks of war, no food? People, if they see you, they're gonna hunt you down. They're not gonna ask questions, unless they want you for something. But other than that, they're gonna kill you, take what you have, even take you and eat you. Remember that, Imagine that. Imagine weeks without people eating. Seeing their cities destroyed, their families killed in front of them. Imagine people are gonna become in an animalistic mode. Okay, beast mode, survival mode, soldier mode. You see? All right, this is something that you gotta understand. Because it's gonna be, it's gonna be very wild out here. And then some. Huh? All right, so that's it on today's lesson. Okay, and remember that these stores are about to shut down out here. These trucks, they're about to stop. The ports, everything's about to come to a halt out here. Because America and different parts of the earth are gonna go in another lockdown. Other lockdowns, martial law. All right, know that that's coming. It's not just okay. The Lord don't have His prophets out here just teaching and telling people, hey, it's coming for no reason. You know what I'm saying? All right, because the prophets are not looking for attention, and no, the prophets are out there to give people the warning, whether people like them or not. See, it's nonstop, until because Esau's getting ready to make his move on the men of the Lord, but that's good though, because once that happens, then the angels are really gonna let the destruction go. Facts. And no one's afraid of Esau's bitch ass. All right, that's something that you gotta understand. All right, because Esau, Esau's going to slavery. He has a small window to do stuff like that. To bring persecution, betrayals, but it's all good. That's all part of it. Our Lord had to go through betrayals, persecution. All right, and all the prophets of the past, they all been through it before, so it ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? All right, because remember, we know the latter end. Because at the end of this thing, the heathen, the Edomites, they're gonna be subject under us. They're going to slavery. So what? We're gonna have to face some hardships and stuff like that. So what? So what? Because at the end of the day, are the Israelites? Are we really living here? Are we having the best time of our lives here? No. So we can care less. And we don't have nothing here. So let's say they do have to put some brothers in prison. Shit, we'll rest. Some brothers don't even have a house. Some brothers are living in their cars. So shit, jail. With food and all that. That sounds like a vacation. Because you're gonna get your own room. You're gonna get free food. Shit. You're gonna be inside. Shit. Usually you have to work. A couple months just to get a room for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Shit. So that's the thing. So when that time happens, the brothers are gonna rest and just chill. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta know that the believers of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai are not worried about Esau, coming down with great wrath and all that. Because we know he's coming with it. But our power is stronger than his. So remember that, and remember, a lot of the elect out there, they have to be put in situations to, in order for the miracles to happen. So remember that, okay? The Lord, remember that the Lord's not going to have to perform a miracle to help you if you're not in those situations, okay? So remember that. So a lot of you are going to have to go into those situations, huh? Okay? In order for the Lord to save you, because if Esau wouldn't come and persecute you and put you in prison or do something like that, okay, then the Lord wouldn't need to perform a miracle. So remember, that's why the Lord says, when this dude comes, let him take you. It's all right. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about it. Okay, because the Lord likes drama. Remember that. He's gonna put a lot of you guys out there in situations just so the Lord can send the angels and perform miracles. Remember that. Okay, remember that. Just because some of you guys out there get hindered up, persecuted, whatever, taken away, that's not the end all be all, baby. Remember, because the angels are out here. All right, if everyone was just chilling all good in their living room, why would the Lord need to perform miracles if everybody's all good? No, okay, remember, the Lord's gonna put people in situations, maybe some brothers have to go to black sites, whatever, but just so the Lord can perform a miracle, facts. So with that, keep the faith on your feet, soldier. Shalom.